Oh, no chamo bike, so chamo bike. Lane, my jata ta phana, tamai murade, so to so zajube, look at that, so to so pay, Jinitsum that Mizoramal Lupa, some way, Kokum, Shasumway, Komuzo, Makapa. So to so, you don't know, my pool of water die in a survey, some of them like, so a baby shimona. Ni pai ni ro a vean no so te kai na jito so to so trailer ni spune ni pe no to lo pa no be to lo so ni lu su pi la ye ni ve vo so la ye lu ni professionals ta la ye ham te ha jito no Poumai PNTM ma ni best wishes pe ne be to lo so le ju jito presentation aya introduction te le ha organizing committee ma ne pe no organizing committee Thank you.
We have another presentation to one of the speaker of the day. So may I call upon Mr. Ruchinilo Cam, co-founder and CEO, Kanono Foundation, to stand on our feet and receive our small token of love and appreciation. So may I call upon Mr. Kim. And next we have Mr. Victor. Please stand on our feet and receive our small gift. Next, Mr. H. Hannah Poumai, friends or team members. Please stand on your feet and receive our small gift. Colore, next in speaker, Kokimata we ala, please do to hai, telepopu sosle.
Mr. John, Nenejito, he will be you. You don't know Vim just so on a co be just him at the high. You don't hear Jim sing, or we want to, yes, it away behalf in a Pimata hair presentation. So we want to Tolosue. We also thank our guests for humbly and cheerfully accepting our token of love and appreciation. You are very, very welcome to this beautiful place. Thank you. Chu, you don't know, Musuhi Totusula. Joe, you the main event. How is the speaker around of it? Telepathy, Tony Jito, so but Jipo Rival is a Sir H. Shani Poumai, Sri H. Shani Poumai, and then the Jito speaker Arasa and a pivot telepo. Pupusila, Piha, that's my letter, Chief Manager, SBI. SBI, the Chief Manager, so you, Jito Jamata, Jito Poumai, what do you for you? Pu jito mihi vele puivane jito pu chalo ha po chalo so po be ye jito mihi pu zo asa so we thone be ja nene jito was your bima banking was my shitting o mu my aju my be shimna jima tane ne kupe ji ne asa vele pe ye system kane zo jito ne vele hana ha mutso vela rama chalo po be ye nene chi por ha vim jiso ne ko be ne vetele ta ko pu pe chalo le sir please.
Tolo shore tele veli ngorubano PNTM 45 conference come second leadership summit. Ye programi zilumoy ana awi boss Hipuni Bismarck regional manager SBI RBO Imphali ku anu PNTM no hona invite programi be ana punu regional office whole Manipur 56 branch li khwa bu te piano video conference kade lab meeting kade janam wa ju show bai te piano pu e pelum bare nemento jono jab Bismarck waimodi rakoshi shore ana ajono rukul di lozo rakowit tawre devan di lozo e kanu PNTM we conference di lo ho second leadership summit we teli hi kanu we talk lipo janu teli ngolu wanu ajono rakowit shore ra kazano ito we daisi buye NPO President Solomon Aro, there's a PNU President Dilord, PMM President Madam Delela, there's a PNTM President Sobuburi Asar Clement. Hamto, he's a rare Kazano of honor, it is of respect, whom to is a boy. 이 볼에 오 비스마르 보고 속도사 뽑으실래 호메서 experience 부부마이 말리에 대해서고 Manipuri what is actually happening in Manipur with banking scenario 예오면인 서버 호난 왜보대고 속도사는 내면도 리차 뱅이가 붙이제나 financial wall이 꽤나 뽕매나 financial wall이 가는 treaty 뭐 이부에 lausan은 내면도 리차네서 뽑아 보면라 나 이서 부전에 이네 unexperienced 부전에 부이 보할라 이거서 부위 이 트리티모 대표는 내면도 존으로고 시셔에 알아 아위서 아위 ngau네서 뽑 ngau불래 예 financial literacy 디에 이 볼라 이거 대에 볼래 financial literacy पैसा सनारका वे जमन देवपैदी द पावे financial literacy ये रारे खासानो इन्यू दे पाउने दिलुजो knowledge itself is power knowledge is a power यानो Francis Bacon ने पाउली वे knowledge बुद्धे कुछ politics सुलेया सुलवे business सुलेया सुलवे अज्जाली सुलेया सुलवे बैंगी वा सुलेया सुलवे IS official सुलेया सुलवे knowledge is power knowledge बुआनो knowledge ने तली सहीन तली थेपियानो knowledge नहीं update चुते कुछ नेसा नेवे वातारा लिसुमा success वही तिलुदी वही दालुवे सनो पैसा सनारका हिया बैंक हिया knowledge proper knowledge बुते कुछ ने बैंक हिया वे सुच्छा हातारली पुलवे इन्हें अन्यू में ही पौधा था जैसे न बैंक लोन सा सुपो बैंक लोन सा पुपो ये बैंक लोन पुलेज़ होला ये बैंक लोन पुले कुछ बैंक में जो न knowledge वे न बैंक में अल्लाह लोगों चली बैंक में जो कुआ न जब तो बैंक लोन से पहले से जो होना ये पोपो सब है politics न contractual ये ले मोहे contractual ये MLA जो न कुआ न MLA छत्ते ये अभी vote बैंक है जो बोए ना ये में है कुछ ना याम सुमो ngomong तो थाउजी थाउना MLA ली ने लुचिया न contract पे ले से सब तो the point है knowledge बुतलो knowledge देखा ना update चुले दिलु से first of all Manipur तो इधर ही बुते पियाने इधर न हो करे करे Southern Nagaland करे हो करे बने अनाम government भी picture ही जो government भी record ही जो इधर Manipur में तो पियाने Manipur profile चले Manipur profile सब में देखो first of all you fail in the first chapter itself Manipur profile चले Manipur देखो मैं तानु बुए इतो Manipur तो इधर ही इपो में दाई position ही बुए याद सर मुझे चिले अते geographical condition say supposing Manipur is a mini world तो इधर भाई ला tan nali bono Manipur the how suma so boomsa. Police Manipur with climatical condition altitude above sea level. Jeribams just 10 meters above sea level, whereas Mau Sapo, Mau Iso, that is 2,994 meters above sea level. However, Manipur profile when you update your knowledge little bit in small thing, a tiny drop of water make a ocean. Likewise, Nenu Manipur profile. How many tribes are there? 33 recognized tribes are there. Then, Taiwichino Manipur profile de chita Bahata ni Bahata kusa banking into Bemano, they studies whether it be political leader, whether it be social leader, entrepreneur, or what Taralisa Baba update Butekusa chose was a waibe, ela nahi self-confident, plus you need it in your life. Nevi Ashrahi Manipur profile, Mola update, knowledge update, so Dargalibe. Ju Ali Power menu, Power we're living in a digital world. The world is changing very fast. It's a dynamic world. But the pose da shore dai tapiano, tali tapiano, na dalmoza. Either you change with the time or you extinct. Let tali tapiano, dalmo te go neta backward and oh, my nipa Sijinalo Hodi, Ela, Nella self confidence one, my social Hodi, my trade born. Oh, Hatsumo Jabede, oh, Hatsumo newly, oh, my son nobody, Jano, to the Porsche, may I show surely be. So, no, right, our topic mainly based on knowledge updation. Knowledge is power, knowledge itself is power. Hatarali Sulema, knowledge buto, and so much. There's a police, Chu Bank Pioli, exam Lisule, more Hatarali Sule dealer. Google in Sarsugo. When do I need to start preparing for competitive exam? That Google in, Google in, my no there. Or you ask, you download artificial intelligence apps, download to class 8 onwards. You need to start preparing for your exam from class 8 onwards. Then probably. So that now, Joe, Hataralia, Halinula. Google in no mola computer in no artificial intelligence law lab apps na nalibano GPT apps they can work te hinu ta no ge hone new accurate show ma baba ne new lara tsui lara ve voli pholo anu tsukho sa te ko o chu computer dilo Google through mobile apps hala hin pa ko yo no. Where do I stand? Our knowledge the cheap way poko update to ne knowledge lawsan majili bule. There's a two knowledge Daivanu Dargapu diluza. Knowledge buguza. Say suppose in two bangini basule. Loan PMEGP loan boy, Mudra boy, MSCME loan boy. It is a navy personal loan boy, pension loan boy, education loan boy, a housing loan boy. Loan Helena Dede Dargai, the Nole police. Nole, Maya no go, Bengi so Maya no go. You try to update from internet. Internet in no good chose that. My must sheep away. Mashimono. I really want to know this. Did a good no try a Joe. Plus, in your life, one thing. Either we are sharing. How can a poly be now? If you search for the truth, then you are teaching a poor no, no poor deluser. If you search for the truth till the end, one day or rather, the truth will come in search of you. Then you are teaching poor like deluser. They deluser. Up Gigi than you. You do hello boy and po or nay po table boy. So the value, you don't know knowledge. So doesn't know. ab desono so diluzo any competitive exam hi bula any business sula any entrepreneurship sula if you keep on searching it will come to you hane pono shwe there's a ju imetono benghi loan e hagan mutso libe there are some loan benghi loan de tole polo come away you need not repay there is no loan in the bank which you need not repay higher knowledge bulmorche jo devane dilezo telilihi ichilo we should passion fruit khade stevia khade mushroom khade poeno ipumezo train treaty me here te oh tribe achute yi ku yi sabu ma how many itoka sabu menu ahead they are far ahead of us how many enjoy chulano how many te is Aadhaar card hai pan card hai compulsory moy teli ne lat tachuye such teli is my you dolano tara thulano my tolino misutilize ya boy ana chu diluza loan tara lipula Aadhaar card boy pan card thue this is forever memory in the computer has a forever memory of the computer bube te piano nezu small lonely pulano so diluza pulano ne banks that no ko no demand notice piano poimo se ito ko ta no right of so no mungai li bube ana chu so computerize te piano ne bi loan ne kha moi diluza Aadhaar cards permanent by pan cards permanent by te piano no come on, go forever memory be computer forever memory they tell lady loser name in taume kotia son of vipago education loan larso shono paisano kaula ha more foreign in pia lar de education loan aduta lipole diluza alini Aadhaar card pay forever memory be whole in pupia your father was a defaulter your mother was a defaulter jano rakoshi shoi lia with the way so high knowledge high knowledge bulmole my name being is a government being be must have a false propaganda tabge ipumal mesa hanon such emoshi po yabu tepiano larano alini my Christianity waimana tepiano my titiano sumo tepiano some malano being lona pula baba come with it about sabule son one high pomo knowledge bulmole she didn't want to there's a hello my tolichi pola bu tepiano inum knowledge ju titli polnoza lara dumai no tepiano lara dumai seminar tepiano lara duye so toza duleche Poumai Naga Talena bube itono my teacher no my viviano Christianity women podi idoza war for doing or poiting pia kaituli hinu my vibulu my vibumata bully vibu viveba bully viveba so na one idoza main road or national highway passu pimoya ito hinsa there's a ito so Christianity women are so no one ito education de ito education ni feeling so li chumo na ta piano my teacher so ho bo na zo diluzo ito the first generation atala le second generation education of the buye jo my sosu phaye my cheche phaye that's so the piano ito atu tra darga tra Hali so darga te posho shipama darga oh tamali da trilla oh de you name anything everything is a creature of God so we need everything but then either way political development darga road development darga electricity darga oh education institute darga ana akhai de shale darga awit so diluza education laram do da Mam Titinu, Lara he didn't tell Wangolo, Kaya. That is up to God, that is up to your labor. But real education with real knowledge, real, daily, in your time, real study. Sotoya such a there's a hollow Hanavi filia dargabla, Hana filia darwa, fil taralia dargabla. And I eat away Larry de Via, Chuchu, Degango, Carizio, my Tolini, Dango, just degree, graduation for namesake, matriculate for namesake, cannot speak even one sentence correctly in English, cannot write even one letter properly. That's education way. So no knowledge updates to law, Bible to law. In Bible, what do you find? This is also a knowledge. In Bible, one of the best English structure you find in any Bible. So Bible literature so Bible ni pau to ya lausan ne vera ko juna dargale there's a inu knowledge we pau te piano Bible here the best English is written in the Bible. So read Bible also, update your knowledge, update everything, whatever is going on. That piti poni, that die, some piti, so the financial inclusion, either way, financial inclusion, they probably delusion. Manipuri, Joe, Alio, 34 block, where Joe, 66 block, or such Poumai is a block at Suburban Chichano, or Purul block, Paumata block, Paibun block. Block having is a Manipur Development Society and MDS new Ibobi government or infrastructure Matita Pole, building up provide to la Mtiti on bank block, Demon Bank Kula, no pop bank branch at Jibule, Ipumate on bank blocks, 10 of it, say around 12 blocks were unbanked. That's 12 blocks unbanked. Poumai block he boom Pura all unbanked. Recently in Paibuni or you go bank you show the way now. Ana Hana Poumai is a day did the hot imai, hango imai, service to trouble measure, Sanapati Trubu settles to try the learner. Ito taking here bank way the salary accounts, Sanapati Butale, Paibuni, my casual, Lara do my casual service, my bule, either with migration, ha, Lara, my heart, you go, Voile Chile, Sanapati, true settles either revenue village and Olmoka. I knew revenue village, I couldn't Butalo, double citizenships, other car will lego, other base by lego, 1 person, 1 vote. 1 person, 1 citizen, 1 person, 1 village in the village. How you lumoza ito? Oh, we are trying to bring bank in a place, but sir has a permanent. Just for your knowledge sake. So that ito mapu maran sama ipume. Oh, jue village in develop solo, mining migration surelo ho. National highway la pass up it so migrations so lanish so new developments level more. Atako who you to book my toligo double citizen who or Senapati Kalapakuna to citizenship also not my pillows. Citizen are high maintenance so palung so either way bank branch so thousand on bank block bank bu high memtita block a poilen government propaganda so either way are we ready? Are we going to do it? If it come, will it sustain? We deal with banks, show government we order to pay and we show like show what I know customer ha business ha 3 years consecutively loss making back with the banks khu and tuba bomla ana takola visa. We cannot predict tomorrow. That's one thing. So just for your knowledge, nemento with knowledge one have power a year hekano peli high soli poivano italo shoe tre poi my jono my tati jono ye my miso mi poisa tralo towe peli hekano ngolu vano bismarck no way buku de loza nemento litra nemento we trillion pa vasulu we tao li pom ngau bom la na pu zo ha lu wa tape no volume be je talo shoye teli voili ngau lu wa no
这了说是是你不买，你呢是的时候呢，这东西把你呢买么是把拉贝呢，一步不比什么呢？这的呢，你买么是把拉贝呢，一步买，来而然呢，这呢你买么是微微呢做不买，但是呢，那是你要为用哈，这道买么是不买，你为什呢？这道为什么呢？呢不一般呢？你买么是为呢做么？是呢 ，You are our genuine guest。是呢，就这道呢，是 H 是你不买哈呢？我们对呢这道哈，老是呢追了，我们第一天呢追了，你呢是的是收到多了呢吧？这微博被话呢，找了说，是狗逼吗 ？Sir， 你 permission 呢？这对了，你不了，你 appreciate 了呢？但是了这这道。giờ vì lỡ biểu PNTM mà tao biểu này chỉ bao nhiêu hai tao này chỉ làm đầu lưỡi thì mà này biểu ashay này mình đầu lưỡi hai daim đầu lưỡi coi the value of humility biểu này hai giờ cái gì hai số này what do for biểu mà biểu này hai giờ cái gì chỉ bom về này chỉ về bom được về biểu mà giờ chỉ bảo lúc mà just Bismarck về cái lúc giờ chỉ về bảo bớt xí này biểu này humble tao này chỉ tao này bảo la biểu ha ngõ la chó số này ngõ la sáu số này Ramai ne pa ne pio na shapai ne pa vad du su pio pa ne humble pio ne Ramai shahi ne Poumai da ne vyachi paucha pa pa vad vesilo ina ha pio ne Poumai da ne vyachi ko ta zula ina ha pau pe ne be tolo su de Sri H 是你 Poumai 就知道musuh hi ta zui lai musuh hi ne special appearance ZQ Titus ve tele pe su lai ZQ Titus ni hai bilaza ni ve tele taba pupu chalo lai. Chu artist mata zovi conference na hi ve lusupo soda po ene popo bi mata hi pomsave ni mata dailaza holo halana bim shui hi ta pai mane jito ve hall hi ma stage mo hai bi pe chalo lai jito tele tara hina你们等于得来背了位，是吧呢？你们等呢，把那事了的了子，好了好了能打好了，因嘛，一到为好了为了背，没了子，一到为 stage 比起拉比背找来哈，不用的pom思维找来，就拉比就 ZQ Titus， 还能为得来背起来 ，Thank you。
Hello. Itu ini lau sulai jauh lau title ini tahu tak lari. Sẽ tới thế bờ bay mô vu cho nó cái suy nghĩ khai xưa kể lu vi rama cả chu ta lại ri cô sơ mô kia sa mai mai pui pu chi lu khai ho re ya su ba bu pu su re jai pu ka mai thao da lai re Sarah Buj by Chingmai Ekini kana behiye Anane mi pai chu pu khalai more Ne sa lai chu pu ne pulu re Ramai wiki kavili suhalu Ko samo kyu Kamai samai pui Uchia bashobu Samai pui pu chi lu khai ho re ya su ba bu pu su re jai pu ka mai thao da nai re Samai pui pu chia và số biu thay lâu ri về du khai ghê Kamai samai pui pu chi lu khai ho re
Tralo sue, jinem sue, CKYSO ye, tena kyo biu, jihan ha zumu ye, ma ya, hop hoy ene jito tawili zabi ma to mam tei tene, piji ha zule de, namai pu, lusung visu ye, rachi ni du ya vi lusu suma ye, YouTube hine, zovine sotasa jita, mane zipa, ma zis la sa lumna chimane, no to ma chimane, as liga tele. Pakai, mesti tu dah cipai mahal celebrity, jadi orang popular tadi, Mr. CKYSO, hana ni, sudah sahaja jadi jauh pasang ngopi biar ngolah satu le, terus le Mr. CKYSO, ni sudah sahaja jadi pa, luai sim ngopi mana, anaja thanaja pion haga wei supi pa ni mai, ju artist mata gentle breeze ke Miss Pune, Miss Genevieve dah wei luai ni ha. Test chu pu he na ni ma ta pu na pom se ai ni ma ta chlo pom be chu ji to mu so ni ta chu le chu second speaker we tele pe si le second speaker hana chu serial number 4 in program hit with the Sri Ruchinilo Camp
co-founder and CEO, Kenono Foundation. With brief introduction, he is a very active personality in Facebook as well, and he shares his experience and knowledge on his Facebook page, so you can check him out. And I stand here privileged to be one of his FB friends. When we are very delighted and we look forward to his speech. Mr. Ruchinilo Kemp is a conservationist and social entrepreneur. He began his journey as a rural development fellow with SBI Foundation Youth for India, and now has over 9 years of experience working in the area of community conservation, climate change adoption, and rural enterprise development. He engages through local community action and policy advocacy work. He is currently the co-founder and the chief executive officer of Kenono Foundation, an organization working towards strengthening community conservation work and developing conservation enterprise models in order to support conservation and create precedents for scalability and policy. Likewise, he is also deeply engaged in supporting and promoting grassroots initiative in Nagaland as Secretary of Sendenu Community Biodiversity and Wildlife Conservation Reserve, which is a pioneer of community biodiversity and conservation, and Zunpa Multipurpose Cooperation Society Limited, a leader in cooperative space. Mr. Kemp engages in policy advocacy as a member of National Working Group of ICCA Consortium, taking up issues of community conservation in South Asia, and as steering committee member of UN World Conservation Monitoring Center. We are very, very privileged and happy to have you, Sri Ruchinilo Kemp, into our midst today. The Poumai as a community and the PNTM in particular welcome you into our midst, and we look forward to your speech. May we request you to please come and take your time. Sir, please.
Good afternoon to you all. Respected President and his office bearers of PNTM, members of the organizing committee, members and dignitaries on the dais, representatives from different Poumai villages and ranges. I stand here honored on this auspicious day to talk to you about the vision of our work that we do currently at Kenono Foundation, and the confidence that it will generate much needed inspiration and motivation even here amongst the Poumai community. Kenono Foundation, it's a development initiative of the Council of Rengma Baptist Churches. So I'm fortunate, and I bring warm greetings on behalf of our own and your brother, the Rengma community from Chingmai district, Nagaland. My association with the Poumai community goes long back till my high school and my college days. And today I come here with my long associated friend, Victor, from Tungjoy village. I'm thankful that I've had the opportunity to have the acquaintance of many Poumai friends in my life and in my work. So I thank you, and I thank you all for the warm invite and the generous offer to speak in front of you. As I stand here in front of all of you and in front of the current leadership and also the future leadership of Poumai community. I have a deep burden, and the deep burden is something around what we see around here. And the burden is around biodiversity. It is about the basic thing, about land, water, and tree. And I think it is now, and I see there's a lot of themes around even this 45th General Conference and Second Leadership Summit about know your roots, going back to your roots, retrospection to your roots. And I think of all that we do, culture, history, one thing that we cannot forget is our biodiversity, our land, the physical tree, and the physical stream that flows in your Barak Valley. The water that flows in the Barak Valley. I think it is time that we do some serious introspection on our biodiversity. And I think I come here with no other message than to speak something about our current biodiversity and what we can do as we go ahead in the next 5-10 years. Because if you think properly, let us all pause for a moment. As I was coming from Kohima to Maoget and then to Tungdoi and till this village, there's a lot of development going on, and rightly so, we should have development. But do we also consider our biodiversity when we think about development? And when I say biodiversity, I'm talking about trees and water and land, flora and fauna biodiversity. And I'm not here to talk about how important it is. I think we all know how important our biodiversity is, how important water is. Now the current central government has this scheme called Jal Jeevan Yojana. The literal interpretation of Jal Jeevan Yojana is living water. But Jal Jeevan Yojana doesn't go and increase the water supply. Jal Jeevan Yojana would only supply water from the source to your house or to your village. It is just a supply line. It is not going to increase water in your village. It will construct you tank, and at the maximum, it will provide you pipe to bring to your neighborhood or to bring to your houses. It is not going to increase water in your village. But then it is a good project. But the title of the project, the name of the project is Living Water. It's to provide living water to our community. But I say the real living water, the living water that in principle and in metaphorical sense, that is also referred in our Bible, is the water that God provides through nature. Is the water that comes through our mountains, and is the water that comes through our streams. And how do we do that? How do we increase our water? How do we increase, or how do we ensure that water in our villages, in our homes, continues to flow? We can only do that if we do conservation. Now, I don't know about the current status in our villages and in Poumai area. But in Nagaland villages, even in remote areas or in villages, people have started buying water. It's just a matter of 5 to 10 years when we will be forced, or every family will be forced to have to buy water. And what are we talking about development? When we cannot ensure the basic need of life to every member of our community. It's okay if the poorer or the weaker section of the community cannot buy a good jacket or a good coat. It's okay, that's fine. You buy and you use according to what you can. If it is about dresses, it's okay. But water, irrespective of how rich or poor you are, I think water is something that each one of us, the poor, the rich, should be able to have access. And if we start developing the trend where we start monetizing water, where we start a trend of buying water, that the rich will have more access to water and the poor will have no access to water. You can only drink as much as water in your house. You can only use as much water in your house if you are able to pay. If that is our status, then I think that is not the right development model we should look in our community. Why I say about water is because water is the elixir of life. And I am tempted to talk about climate change. But if I talk about climate change, we will not understand. Many of us will not understand. It requires a scientist to understand things around climate change. We have a lot of news. We have news articles. Sometimes scientists will say that the glaciers in the Leh-Ladakh area is decreasing. It's melting away. The sea level is increasing. Our weather patterns are changing. Rainfall is erratic now. So those things are symbols and signs of climate change that is creating a havoc for our agriculture and for our farmers. But I think water is something we face every day. The issue of water is something we all know. And the issue of water is something, I think, it affects mostly our women folks. So I praise and I urge all of us to think of a life with abundance of water. For a moment, pause yourself and think, what would be our life if there was scarcity of water, or if there was no water? I was earlier working in Rajasthan for 6 years, and in Rajasthan we worked on a lot of projects, and one of the projects was to restore degraded land. So an example of degraded land would be something like this. No grass, no tree, it's barren. And what we used to do in the project would be, we call it a carbon credit project. And in the project, what we do is, we do watershed management, we plant trees, and we ensure that the trees survive. And this barren land is converted into a green land. And that's how we did a lot of projects around this degraded land. And one way to raise funds for this kind of degraded land was bringing the concept of carbon credit. And what is carbon credit? Carbon credit is, in simple terms, carbon credit is the value of oxygen that is generated in this forest. You convert it into a unit called credits, and you sell the value of oxygen created in this forest to another buyer. So what happens is that, suppose we decide, in this village, we decide that this area is our reserve area, is the reserve area of Khullen village. And the total area is 100 hectares. 100 hectares would be 1 square kilometer. And in this 100 hectares, after some field survey, you find out that this 100 hectares produces around 1,000 carbon credit. And if the students of forestry or botany would understand how you measure biomass, how you measure biomass stock of a tree. But there's a certain calculation, formula calculation. After that formula is used, you calculate and then you find that, okay, this forest has the potential to offset 100 tons of carbon. And after you do that one, and after it is being audited by an external organization, or these days they have carbon auditors, they audit, you can sell as a village. As a community of Khullen, you can sell the carbon credit. And you sell. And now the going rate in the market per ton of carbon credit is 7,800. So if it is 100 tons of carbon credit, it will be 7,80,000 example. So that is how that you sell your carbon credit to a buyer, and then the community gets the fund from the sale. It's like buying and selling. Basically, but I was talking about carbon credit in my own community, in Raovumai community. People started asking, what is carbon credit? Please tell me, this is very technical term. Tell us in simple words. Simple meaning, what is the carbon credit? Then I told them, carbon credit is basically selling hawa. It's selling air. You cannot see. It's a project that you cannot see. You can only see the forest, but you cannot see carbon credit. But the concept is that we all know in our schools that trees produce oxygen. And if trees produce oxygen, forests are carbon sinks. In our region, in Northeast, in Nagaland, in Manipur, we don't emit a lot of oxygen. We don't emit a lot of carbon dioxide. Places like Delhi or industrial states like Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, they have large, big factories, big petrochemical industries. For them to earn 1 crore, they would also emit a lot of carbon dioxide. So by emitting carbon dioxide, what they do is they cause harm to the environment. So what happens is now international organizations, UN, United Nations Framework for Climate Change Convention, and UN bodies, they have started having regulations, and they have started having standards where industries and governments are pressured to reduce their carbon footprint. So as part of those laws and regulations, industries like Reliance or industries like Infosys or industries like L&T or Tata Consultancy or Tata Motors, they cannot go and make a forest because they don't have land. They cannot go and plant trees because they are not from a village. They are companies in urban areas. So what they do is they buy carbon credit from those communities who owns forests. They buy carbon credit from those organizations that works with community conserved areas. And that's how the whole market of concept and market of carbon credit operates in our day and age now. And it is not a concept. If you go and check, if you go and explore carbon credit, it is like stock market now. Like in the stock, people do stock exchanges, the rates increase and decrease. It is the same with carbon credit. So I press that right now, the value of our forest, the value of our forest and the biodiversity of our region and area is not just important for us, but it's equally important for the rest of India or for the world. We are the most fortunate community to live in an area where it is considered to be the 35th top biodiversity hotspots in the world. And if we fail to see biodiversity, if we fail to see conservation, the principles of conservation, flora and fauna, trees and wildlife conservation, or even in more simple terms, biodiversity conservation, if we fail to see or recognize that as part of our core development principle, as part of our core community development principle, then I think we are missing big time. Now, if I speak in front of my community members, I tell them, it is not a matter of, oh, we'll see if we'll do biodiversity conservation or not. It's not, we are not in a time where we can think, okay, let us ponder, let us introspect, and let us deliberate whether we will do or not. We have gone past the time. Now is the time of, when are we going to do? Shall we do it next year? Shall we do it this year? When are we taking the decision? Because if we fail to take the decision now, it will be too late. Because the loss of biodiversity, the loss of the rate and the loss of biodiversity is far more than what we can preserve if we are too late. And by that, I'm not pressing on a solution, or I'm not pressing on an action that is not impossible. It is possible. In Chingmai district, where the Rema community lives, it is a small district, one of the smallest districts in Nagaland, of around 43 recognized villages only, village councils. And right now we are working with the Rengma Village Council Chairman Forum and the Council of Rengma Baptist Churches. Both the council and the forum has taken the resolution that all the villages under Chingmai district will do conservation, and that we will be a green district. That is the place we have taken, and that is something that we have started our work since last year. The hard part is developing consensus in the community to do conservation. Developing a project on carbon credit is the easy part. It requires a team of professionals to calculate how much carbon value is there in your forest and to find the right buyer and the right company and the right organization to conduct the sale. It is that simple. The most difficult part is to build consensus in your own community. Because conservation doesn't come free of course. It comes at a cost. There are winners and losers in conservation. If you want to do conservation in your own village, there will be some families that will lose now, but will gain in the future. So we all have to decide, are we willing to lose something now and gain something in the future? We'll have to have a better village governing system and a better village management system to even think about what do we do at a later stage if the funds from the sale of carbon credit comes. Because it is not going to be a small sum of 1 lakh, 2 lakh rupees. If at all it comes, it'll come in big numbers. So we should not have a project where there will be more conflict when the benefits of the project comes. And that is something I tell plainly. And that is something I even speak with my own community members. We think that we will do conservation because of carbon credit. Go ahead, do conservation because of carbon credit. But let it not be a project that destroys your own community. We all know the good thing and the bad thing that comes of election. Let us not also repeat a similar cycle. Let us all think of an approach and the framework of our community development that actually ensures equity and benefit to all sections of our community members. And if we think now, if we close our eyes right now and think of the different project that is under the government of India and through the state, different departments of the state that is being implemented. We have different projects, but most of the projects are individual basis, individual beneficiary. At the maximum, it will be group beneficiary, SHGs, or some would have community beneficiary. But I think we as Nagas, and with the way we have come with our cultural tradition, and something that something that we can learn from other development models happening in other parts of India and abroad, international, is that community-based projects brings the village together. Individual-based projects benefits the community, but sometimes fails to bring the community together. If you have a successful project on conservation, and you bring a lot of things, you bring carbon credit, there are now a host of projects that can come under conservation, under the theme of conservation enterprise. Ecotourism, carbon credit. You can also, in Chingmai district, we do on coffee also, honey. And we all label it saying that these are all forest produce. And we put a premium to it also. But then conservation for our Naga context. If I'm talking to a group of Adivasi in MP, in Chhattisgarh, in Rajasthan, it is different because they don't own their forest. The forest department owns the forest. But I'm talking to our Naga veterans. We all own our forest. The forest department doesn't own our forest. So it is up to us to decide what do we do with our forest. And we may say we have developed, we are becoming modern, this is the age of information technology, virtual reality and everything. But the world will always see us as forest dependent, forest dweller community, because that is our history and that is our culture and that is our roots. So I urge you and I beg you, take a moment to ponder and to pray and to be deliberate amongst your leadership to consider on doing something on forest biodiversity conservation, to usher in or to establish the foundations of how our community development can happen now and in the future. Thank you all. May God bless you all.
Modern problems need modern solution. Thank you, Sri Ruchinilo Kam, for your wonderful speech. Indeed, we are so much enlightened by your wonderful sharing of knowledge. You are the type of person that the modern world needs, and we wish you good luck and God's blessing in your future endeavors as you fight to conserve our dear biodiversity. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Ju musuhine organizing committee mata hine presentation telepu sila organizing committee ni mata pahana chalu ta ko telepu poi cholo lai. Thank you.
The upcoming resource person hanavi introduction to Lipisule. We have Mr. Gopan Moses, who is a governing board member of the Entrepreneur Associates, providing leadership to the team in Manipur, a social entrepreneur himself. Mr. Gopan has a diverse experience with various international developmental agencies like the United Nations Organization, Catholic Relief Services, Action Aid India, etc. Before becoming an entrepreneur in 2008, he is a motivational speaker, business mentor, and advisor to many entrepreneurs and organizations in Nagaland and Manipur. Sir, we're very delighted to have you. Thank you for coming all the way from Imphal, and we welcome you to Chingmai, Khullen. We want to acknowledge you with a small token of gratitude and appreciation for your presence. May you kindly, yeah. I request a volunteer to please bring a small gift of appreciation. It's a frame where it includes our heritage. We also have the kind presence of our Sir, Surjakanda Ngangom, who is a social entrepreneur himself and has impacted a lot of people in the state itself. Sir, we also want to acknowledge you with a token of appreciation. All right. So, Mr. Itavi, President, Student, SENAPATI District Women Association, Hino Vupia Buju, Madam Hana, Nia, some Truvi Jahina Frame Ali, gives up in your Bujum Joshua Labia. Huh? Oh, okay. Sorry. I just want to be so Poumai at the moment, so I thought. Okay, so yes, I welcome Madam Hana, who is the president of SENAPATI District Women Association. Thank you so much for coming all the way from the SENAPATI to witness our event. We welcome you to Chingmai, Khullen. Yeah, and I also request her colleagues who came with her to please receive a token of gift here. Yeah, we have our Joint Secretary here and Vice President. Okay, thank you so much for the time.
Tolosue organizing committee matane zoji to hi to we love you sima to ha za jushim ngope ye ji to mthauso ne pima to hi musashi yu na ta da paiwa ne pima to organizing committee mata hi tolo pon be ju ji to next speaker here to mun ne special performance aji ha pure ne ji to ne zipaso bi Mr. Zuku Titus, hana hene ju pese lai Mr. Zuku Titus ni pa na cholo je ni ve tele pyo ne pa pu pu cholo lai na ne kyu ne be cholo ai pi ta pa bu ji mam se request ne je veux ji to conference hi semai lo ve lo be jima to mi ve mja so ne so da lo ve lu su pu ma be chi po pu ma be so van mam te ne pi ma to lu su che bi chi po che bi chi asa sa pi ma to chalo de na pa na bom to pe ye sa ta chi po ma semai ve chi presentation pe ham te te pi ma to asa sa welcome to you aya chalo po je han ha mam te ne za shen ne bom to pe so ko de le ze jima to ne bom to ju pa ra ju ham te te lo pi la ne jima to program hi jin no lo pi lo ve so van mam te te ne za shen ne program hi lo zu cha pe bom to te le hi mam te te cha va che to cha pe ne bom son be cholo e Mr. Zuki Titus ni ve te le pu pe cholo le
hello color tili pipiwa ne lo le su pile cha lo ayaho bisule alish bai jan ne mosaru dinasule so madam mai chin kulan so jo le kal le hello track please truly wa bashua birisa ine truly wa bashua bire ne apahini talamuni ayahu aleshi paizune mosaru mai te te pui hini do pa kai tine li bai ine chulu wa va shua bire ne vi judi ni pa gai te ho ayaho Alishi paizune mosaru Kutini apune kipehini rali Sana sane tu ironi chobika Sepati lehine pu ichobe Ayaho Alishi paizune mosaru Color
Chalo suwe pyo ne jito saso biyo Mr. Zuki Titus ne so ta so ba pyo ne lu travis yu mam so no zipa yu zai ni ne zai ku lo bi lu na so pu ne jito ji cha so de pyo ne chalo po ne be ladies and gentlemen, we are now at the nearing to the end of our session, but we have a very, very special guest amidst us who have been introduced by the organizing committee a few moments ago. And he is none other than Sri Gopan Moses, and his brief profile has been highlighted. I will not repeat it again, but sorry for being judgmental, but when I look at our guest here today, I see cheerfulness, happiness, willingness, enthusiasm, and every other good qualities. And we are more than happy to have you here. We welcome you so much with our hearts. Though you come from a far place, You took all this trouble to be here with us today, and that is something which we value so much, and we thank you for coming. And like I said, looking at you, we want to hear your voice, and we cannot wait to hear your voice. So, sir, we request you to kindly take your time. Sir, please.
Good afternoon. At the very outset, I won't do justice if I don't say that I'm feeling very nervous to talk to a crowd, a mammoth gathering here today. I've never spoken to such big groups. I'm used to speaking in a training where there are 30, 40, 60, or at the most 100 people. I'm used to interacting with them and planning with them about their lives in my journey to promote entrepreneurs. Ladies and gentlemen on the dais, I am extraordinarily honored to be in your presence today to share some of the lessons and thoughts about my journey to be an entrepreneur. More particularly, a journey, a twist, the turn that I have made from regular service, regular salary job, to selling things in the streets of Imphal. President Mr. Clement, during the past few weeks, have been bothering me quite a bit. He said, "Sir, I would like you to come and share your thoughts like you have done to other places, to my people." I said, "About what?" "About your life." Mr. Clement again disturbed me in saying that there will be around 500 people. I said, "I'm not used to talking to that kind of a crowd." He said, "Sir, in other days, in other conferences of our students' annual conference, there used to be around 2,000 plus participants. But this time, since you are coming, we have chosen only select smart and intelligent student representatives." So that made me all the more nervous. So I hope I shouldn't sound like a politician to talk to such gathering. It's merely about telling a personalized story about how I started taking off entrepreneurship, business in the streets of Imphal, living so-called a very coveted job in the United Nations. So in the process of next half an hour, when I talk, 30 minutes, please don't get me wrong, but I'll be telling a lot of stories about myself, because those are the experiences I have had myself, which are true and real, not borrowing from the books or not mere stories I heard from other people. I developed goosebumps just now when I told you that these are very personal stories. I studied in Don Bosco, Chingmai in Imphal. That was the time in the early 80s, 1984. And I was a new converted Christian in the new environment from a very poor village, from a very poor family. Then I went to Don Bosco in Imphal. I was very puzzled. I don't know if I have taken the right decision for the missionaries to help me to come to such an institute to study. That went on for another 2-3 years. Then I went on to study further I studied in St. Joseph College, Zakama. As a growing up little child, I have seen my mother, my father suffer for lack of food in my house. So as a little child, as I grew up, I had something in my mind that when I grow up, I will look up to my parents. I'll make them happy. When I grow up, I will earn a lot of money. When I grow up, I will be a rich man. So these thoughts actually took me to several places. This thought took me to study commerce. I studied commerce. I went further, and I went to Loyola College, Chennai, helped by those same missionaries, very pleased with my hardworking habits. So in St. Joseph College, Zakama, with my limited resources, when I studied commerce, I thought I will continue my further studies there itself and finish my BCom. The management of the college themselves said, you don't study here. Don't do your BCom studies here. I said, where shall I do it then? I don't want to go too far away from my home, that is in Imphal, in Thawal district, a place called Yaripo, because I don't have money. We will help you, but you go and study in the bigger college. So they made the arrangement to let me go and study in Loyola College, Chennai, which was, again, like a fish taken out from a well to put in a mighty ocean. I studied commerce. I completed BCom simply because at that time I came to know that people who are rich, they are doing business. I wanted to be rich to look after my parents, to serve my mother better by having more money. So who has more money? As a little child, I was thinking about it. Then people, teachers, they all told me that only those people who do business, they have more money. They are the rich people. So I thought, what kind of study do they do if they have to become rich and if they have to do business? They said commerce. So that's how I took commerce. But by twist of destiny, at my MA level, I left my commerce studies and I did MSW, Master of Social Work. Simply because during those days I got engaged in a lot of social movements, of student social movements that paved me the way to think differently. So I took MSW, Master of Social Work. From MSW, it was do social work to help people to work with the non-governmental organizations. So that's how I went from different funding, international funding agencies to the United Nations. After spending 15 years in such jobs, traveling all over the world, earning a lot of money, in my sense, as a salaried person, I was drawing salary which is many people's envy, with lot of perks and facilities. One fine morning, I got up and said, this work is enough for me. I must do something different. I was slowly getting fed up with the job, especially in the United Nations. Then I thought about it, I prayed over it. Then this matured more and more, and one fine morning I said, I'm leaving the job. I had a well-wisher boss of mine. When I told this story, that boss, I have to leave my job. Pagal ho gaya kya? I mean, this was her reply. I said, I don't know, but I don't want to work anymore. What are you going to do? I again said, I don't know. Leaving the job is what I'm going to do. I seriously did not know, but I only knew one thing, that I'll go back to Imphal and start something which other people can replicate and earn more money and do business. That was at the back of my mind for a long time. So I left. I came back to Imphal. Many people thought I have become mad. Pagal ho gaya kya? Mad. M-A-D, mad. You are mad. Yes, I am mad. Leaving that job, like that kind of a job in the United Nations, and coming back to do business here, you are mad. Yes, I am mad. You know what is the meaning of mad? M-A-D, making a difference. My madness is to make a difference. So I started a mad club in Imphal. Surzakanta, who is a social entrepreneur, who is my friend and colleague, who is with me, is also mad. He also worked in the United Nations. When I left, I said, I will also leave. We are fed up with this job. So he also started doing business side by side along with me. And today he's a very respected guy. He's owning a lot of 3-4 companies to do different jobs. I mean, in the course of our stay here tonight, we will also interact with him. So what happened in Manipuri among the Meiteis? Among the Meiteis, there is a thing called Sahi Nipugi Dasa. Matlab, in English, if we have to explain it, it is called midlife crisis. When a person reaches 40 years, there used to be usually a misfortune. This is what the Meiteis believe. At the age of 40, usually the man meets a misfortune. Dashataba. So I didn't know. I'm a Christian. So I was not paying attention to this kind of hearsay. I mean, what people believe. So now when I got back home, my sisters all thought that he has become mad. And he must be having this Sahi Nipuki Dasa. The misfortune. Because he left this job and started doing business. So they took my horoscope, which I had forgotten, and they took it to the Pandit, Maiba, and they see, he's about my brother. He doesn't know that we have come to see his fortune. I think he left his good job and started doing business. This must be a misfortune. Please see if there is anything. So the Panji, the scholar, open it and so, no. This man doesn't have Sahi Nipugi Dasa. He doesn't have the misfortune. So there are also some people who do not have such kind of things, they say. So my sisters went secretly to look for my fortune. So these kind of things happen. I started selling water in the streets of Imphal. When I started selling water, so many people came from so many corners who are my well-wishers. So they all thought that water alone is not going to make you a good business person. You try to sell something else too. You put something else also, not only water. So this advice came very cheap from everyone. But I wanted to prove somehow that to the people of Imphal, rather to the people of Manipur, and among my friends, that selling water alone can also make somebody rich. Water alone. So to their disbelief, I was getting around 2 lakhs plus lot of privileges and lot of perks in my job. So when I started selling water, I only committed to myself that in 3 years, by selling water, I will defeat my salary. Which means in 3 years' time, I should earn more than 2 lakhs per month to defeat my salary job. So with that vision, with that commitment, I started my water selling business. I was working very hard. There are a lot of stories which will take the whole day to narrate. But in 6 months, though my commitment to defeat my last salary from my business was 3 years, in 6 months I defeated my salary job. In 6 months' time, I started earning from my water selling business more than 2 lakhs per month. It was a very motivating achievement for me. I had a friend from Nagaland, one Mr. Nichute Dulo, the founder of EA. He's junior to me by age, but he is one of the mad guys who actually motivated me. I knew him from the time he started EA. That's how I became a board member of EA, and I'm in the management team of EA. You must be knowing EA. Yeah. So I'm very proud to be associated with this group. So I started selling that way. Then I needed more people. I needed more people to join in my business as workers or my employee. So I thought, I belong to a very big family, so I called my sisters, sons, my nephews, and asked them, come, I'll give you this much of money, but you join me in my work. So they all joined me. 4 or 5 of them were working, and they were feeling shy and afraid to drive an auto. In the Imphal city to deliver and supply water to the customers. Then I said, if you feel shy, you just sit by my side, I will ride it myself. So I was riding auto with the cab, with the short pen, from street to street, from customers to customer, popularizing my water. So people started buying more and more. In 3 years' time, I was supplying 70% of the whole Manipur's market demands. So there were few Marawaris and Biharis who control Imphal market. So when I say I am supplying 60 to 70% of Manipur's water market, how much is in money value, or how much is it in the physical water value quantity? 1 truckload a day was in 2 years. But in 3 years' time, I used to sell 2 truckloads a day. 2 truckloads of water in a day in Imphal alone. And people will queue up to buy. So we had factories from Imphal who are producing water, but it was never enough. So I went outside Manipur in Khatkati and Assam to procure water to sell it. You understand? Then when I became a big seller of water, per day I used to sell around 5 lakhs worth of water. You just count around 20% of that as my daily profit. 2 truckloads of water per day. 5 lakhs sale per day. So that was my achievement. Then when I became successful in business in 3 years' time, then a lot of people came. Lot of suppliers, lot of producers, lot of company came following me. Said, why don't you sell this also? So instead of I running after many other products while selling water, in 3 years' time, many more people, many more companies, many more producers of these things came following me and said that, please sell my products too. Because I anyway have a lot of market. So they started offering me very good margins, because it is not I who run after their products. They are the ones who is running after a person who sells things. So I could bargain in a better position. So that's how my journey became much bigger. My enterprise became much bigger. Then in the process, I came to know a lot of young people who are unemployed, wanting to do business, but they don't know how to start, where to start. And they had no people who can hold their hands and tell them, do like this, do like that. I'm tempted to tell a story. There was one guy called, whose name is Megha. He is a big man now. While I was selling water, I was sitting in a shop, and he used to come every now and then, just look at my shop, and people loading, unloading, and he used to go away in his auto. 3-4 times he has done that in front of me. One day, I just jumped out of my shop and called him. What? Every day I see you coming and looking at my shop and not buying it. What are you doing? So he said, sir, I sell incense stick. We call bokul dhup. Dhup, na? Incense stick, which you put in the temples. When the Meitei people pray, they used to put an incense stick. So that he sells for a Marwari businessman. Those things are very light. Very light. So he tells me that he is selling that one. So I opened his career. I opened his auto rickshaw, and I found half of it full with that kind of stuff. Then I gave him an example. Come here. This you cannot sell every day, this lot of incense stick. You take out half of it and keep in my shop. And the other half you load with my water. Wherever you go, you sell water and your product also. What you earn from money, what you earn from the water is yours. You don't need to report to your Marwari boss. So he liked the idea. He started selling my products along with his usual stuff. In 2 months' time, he gave up the Marwari man, and he started selling only water. But he did not have an auto rickshaw to carry my water. He asked me, brother, can you give me some money? I want to buy a second-hand auto rickshaw so that I will be on my own. I said, how much? He said, give me some 70,000. I don't know how. I just gave him. I saw the commitment in his face, and I didn't hesitate. Okay, take it. I gave 70,000. He bought a second-hand auto rickshaw, which cost around 1 lakh. And he started selling. And in 4-5 months' time, he repaid my money with some nominal interest. Then I realized there must be a lot of people like you. You bring them, I will finance. So in the process, I started also financing these poor boys in Imphal. Give them a little money, make them buy a better career, better auto rickshaw. This little acts of supporting them with some money and making them grow in their business became like a wildfire in Imphal. It started spreading. It became a big ripple. When you drop a stone pebble in the water, it gives some ripple. So the ripple became bigger. One after another, they started spreading the news that Mr. Gopen of Humangman Link gives money to those who want to do business. Actually, I did not have this in my mind when I started. So I realized that this is one big market which we can do to promote business. Then I caught these young people who are unemployed. Slowly, all of them came under one umbrella. They all sold my product. And from place to place, they started collecting other stuffs, and they became big suppliers. Before them, it was only mostly Biharis who are taking stuffs from Imphal city, going to the different places mostly within the valley to supply the goods and get the profit out of it, which was within 2-3 years time, it was slowly and very effectively replaced by the local people. Just starting with one person. And the most beautiful part of it is, I started making money out of it. Doing this little microfinance to support local entrepreneurs or local businessmen. So some of them come when they have problem, I counsel them, I motivate them. Some of them do not have good habits earlier. After they started earning money, they begin to feel the taste of life. So this movement grew, and today if you come down to Imphal, for whatever reasons, you will see a lot of auto rickshaws, DI, Tata Mobiles, and Bolero pickups. So many. Going from corner to corner, from pillar to post, running around, supplying things to the market. So this movement actually started after I began this little act of supporting the poor boys. Then I thought, this is one area we can also earn money, in the meantime support young unemployed youth. So I took that portion of my business a little further, and today I have a microfinance unit which runs with a paid-up capital of around 3-4 crores, supporting businesses in and around Imphal area. It all became true in the matter of 5-6 years. The power of business. There are many people who are so enthusiastic but devoid of any idea how to go about doing it. So those are the people I started motivating one by one, and they are all doing very well in their areas of own businesses. Some of them have stopped supplying things or driving a auto rickshaw or driving a DI, and they started slowly, as they come to know, branching out to new realms of businesses. There was one guy whom I met in Bishnupur district. He came in a big Bolero, very nicely kept new Bolero. When he saw me, he came running to me and said, Sir, Tamo, hey, that Bolero is yours? Yes, sir. But he took some few years ago, he took some money to buy a second-hand, very poor, dilapidated auto rickshaw to start the business. In 3-4 years' time, he owns a Bolero, and he came greeting, wishing me. I said, how come? You have grown too fast? I said, no, sir. Don't tell others, I'm doing a good business. I said, what business is it? He says, he is supplying Baba Jarda. Panchabagi Baba Jarda do. So that is actually banned in Imphal. Many police people used to try to catch it. Nah? It has become black. So, but huge big profit, he says. You know, to do that, to deceive the police people, he has to own a good car which they cannot catch. Who will think that a person who is riding a good Bolero will sell Babar Zarda? In the Bolero, he is keeping Babar Zarda. It's just an idea. What he is selling may be good or bad. That's not the issue. But look at it. The ideas that he is getting it to do business. Babar Zarda say, ban tawe haragi henachawa heleba. When it is banned, people actually long for it more. Then he taught me that there's, sir, if you want to do it, there's a lot of money in this. He actually gave me the idea. I was tempted. I will also do Baba Zada's talking. I seriously thought of it, and I went to Silchar to find out whether we can do this or not. Then at the end we thought, come on, I am motivating a lot of people to do business, and with this kind of black market, I shouldn't have a label on my face. So I slowly, good sense prevailed. I don't know good or bad, but the sense prevailed, and I did not do Baba Zarda business. The fact of the matter is that he has grown very rich because of Baba Zarda, and the technique that he used is to drive a costly car, but inside put Baba Zarda, so the police will not catch him. But these kind of thoughts from a person whom I have with just few thousands, in 3-4 years' time, he has built his house, he has bought his car, and he has a very pretty wife. Look at this, how he has grown. So this kind of stories I'm coming to tell you. Now, coming back to our Senapati district, coming back to our Poumai area, what about business? Our previous speaker just now was talking about conserving the forests. It's something which we need to do. If we don't do, we are going to perish. This is something which we need to do. But in doing preservation, conservation of our forest and environment, can there be money out of it? These are the thoughts that came to my mind. Yes. In Nagaland, we piloted a project. The project is called Mithun Rearing, Mithun Chandrang, Mithun Rearing Project. That was supported by Tata Trust. And my friend Nichiti and I thought about it. We went to Mumbai and I said, look, we want some innovative ideas to conserve the forests. Can we do something with you? I said, yes, we can do it. So this idea of rearing Mithun, because while conserving forests, we can also generate money out of it, generate income out of it. So we presented Mithun rearing. We went to Mumbai again. They wanted to hear our ideas. We presented it. They liked it. They gave us 3 crores. They gave us 3 crores to pilot a project of Mithun rearing. Mithun rearing. I am the first Meitei in the world, Meitei man in the world who owns a Mithun. Manipur ki Imphal Valley the Mithun kanana yokani ko. So I own a Mithun in Thechumi village in Phek district in Nagaland. You see, I invested it on Mithun. How Mithun conserves forests. While doing this conservation, which is need for our society, we are generating money. This may be a good point for our sir. Mithun needs forests. Without proper forest, they will not live. So if they need forest, we have to conserve the forest for the Mithun that I have. So when we went to villages, Losami, Porba, all those big Chekasang villages, we told them, these mountain range, you take a decision that you will not touch this mountain forest. And it is in this area that we'll let the Mithun roam around. Oh, they agreed, because that's a very innovative project. We gave money to fence this, like these mountains, so the Mithun will not trespass to other village or people who grow food. So we started fencing those areas. That was the money of the project. Villagers gave free labor, which we converted into monetary terms and told Tata Trust, see, this much of money we generated from the project. So our local contribution became much bigger than their 3 crores. We have to calculate how people are working to fence the mountain so that Mithun can roam around and stay. When that forest area where the mithun will roam around is conserved, forest became better, water sources in the valley, water sources in the, we started getting more water in the following year, we started getting more water for cultivation, and more clean water started flowing in the village. We choose those strategic places for the mithuns. And by mere keeping mithuns, we get lot of other benefits. How does we generate income out of conservation of a forest? One mithun is a minimum of 80,000, one full-grown mithun. And it is a celebrated animal. Mithun meat is also very expensive. So one mithun, when it is let out in the free-range forest, we are keeping the mithun without any expenditure. It's a passive income. So in the following year, we start having 2 mithuns. In the second year, we start having 3 mithuns, which means in 2 years, if you have spent 1 lakh, it has become 3 lakhs. In 5 years, it will become 8 lakhs, because the growth is exponential. Macha dagi macha, wari mama dusu adum macha pokpa ko. Mithun mother, mithun macha, then macha again gives birth, and mama su adum macha pokpa. So it like the growth, the pyramid is very big. So we realize, my God, ok yokpada machinchak thabade yam wai na ko. We suffer a lot when you do piggery. We have to feed them. But in the case of mithun, we don't need to feed them. It is free ranging, and it is such a passive money multiplying. Where do you get such kind of an income? In 5 years, your 1 lakh becomes 8 to 10 lakhs. This is how only entrepreneurs, people in the business sector can think. I was telling my friend, Suzakanta while driving here. At 7 o'clock, a call came from our president, Clement. He said, "Sir, you better start a little early." I said, "Why?" There is some change in the program. We may have to give you an opportunity to talk a little early. So we hurriedly started, and as we drive into this mountain, I was saying, "My God, Mr. Suzakanta, if you were in this mountain, in one of these villages, what will you do?" I asked my friend. He thought a while. He didn't answer. He didn't give a ready-made answer. He's thinking, and he said, "What are you thinking? Are you giving me answer? Tell me, what will you do if you are one of the villagers here?" He said, "Tamo, I will plant maize." He said, "I will plant maize." I said, "How come? You are thinking the same as I thought." Said, "Why maize?" Then while coming here, we were discussing about it. Look, Manipur is spending crores and crores of money just to get maize from Madhya Pradesh. When our mountains, these beautiful mountains, can grow actually much better maize variety than Madhya Pradesh. Government of Manipur also has developed a maize variety from Manipur, which is very high yielding. Maize, why it is so good? One, this is what the pigs eat. This is what the chicken eats. This is what the human people eat. This is what the cows eat. Every maize is consumed by so many varieties of living beings. Chicken feed, poultry farms, 60 to 70% of the feed is maize. There's a lot of money in maize. When you look at this mountain from a I was born here. I went and hunted in this village, in these mountains, in this forest. I cut my firewood from this mountain forest. That was very personal and emotional. But when you start looking at it from the entrepreneurial lens, you will start seeing that these mountains can generate money for me. For a simple thing like maize, Purul is one of your villages in this area. Look what they have produced. Kiwi. Anybody from Purul? In Imphal, see. In Imphal, we are dying to buy your kiwi. I heard that some kiwis are even rotting in your village. Score. Possibilities are plenty if you look from a business point of view. Dear friends, I am coming to tell you, which many of you already know, that in Manipur there is nothing called unemployment problem. There is nothing called unemployment problem. We are bestowed with 1,001 opportunities to become rich. 22,000 square kilometers is our area. 90% is mountains, which is lived. In this 90%, only 30% of the population lives. Very sparsely populated. So out of this 90% mountain, not all the mountain areas are good for human habitation. Some are very steep, some are very rocky, so we cannot do much about those areas. Let's give even that a generous portion of those kind of mountains as 50% of this 90%. So we still have more than 40% of the Manipur land area as our cultivable, good soil, fertile resource at our hand. Inhabited only by the 30% of the population. These are our resources. We have been spoiled by our education. Not to think of it. We have been spoiled by politics. We have been spoiled to think that getting a government job is the pride. Government servant. We all die to get into a government job, however small or big it is. This mentality has to change and find answers to our problem here in our locality. Maize is only one example. 1,000 opportunities are there. We have such an opportunity, fertile soil, good rainfall, good roads nowadays. In those days, it was difficult. In those days, yes, in our father's time, in our grandfather's time, it was difficult because we did not have that kind of a infrastructure or road to take our produce to the market. But today it is not the case. Suppose you have maize here. From the valley, Maitais will come and buy it. You don't come to Imphal, I will come and buy it. You can sit here and bargain. The road is reaching here. You have fruits. They will come and buy it. Imphal is such a market, which is just, you can reach within 2-3 hours time. In Phek district, in many villages, we did banana plantation. At the end, we gave up. Simply because, Fuchero and so on, very popular. At the end, we gave up. Simply because we produce large-scale bananas from Fuchero, from Phek district, and by the time we brought to Imphal, it became, by the time it is brought to Kohima, it became very expensive because of the transport. And we did not have so much of population who can actually enjoy banana. So it was rotting. Then we started doing again, okay, fry it, make it banana chips. All of them were taught how to process banana. That became again a problem, where to sell it. We simply don't have the population to buy this kind of large-scale production. But in the case of Imphal and Manipur, it is not so. You bring anything to Imphal, it disappears within no time. Strat. Miyam though. It's a hungry mouth waiting to buy what you produce. Everything can be converted into money within no time. Imphal is a city of perpetual scarcity. October. October. You bring lapu, banana stem. You bring banana leaves, la. You bring banana flower, lapu tharo. You bring the fruits of banana tree, which is banana. You know, 4 things from one tree. Go. Stems are eaten, leaves are used, fruits are used, flowers are used. It's never enough. So we are not taking advantage of this. We have ready opportunities here to convert your products into money, which is not the case in Arunachal, which is not the case in Mizoram, which is not even the case in Nagaland. So Manipur, to say it again, I'm very sad that Mr. Bismarck, who is my friend, he's a big man in State Bank of India, who are supposed to be one of the speakers, did not come here. I wanted to debate with him. He's one of the biggest performers among the State Bank employees now today. So a lot of big people come to Manipur. How you are doing it? How you are doing it? In 6 months, your own man, Mr. Nipuni Bismarck, has invested in Manipur, in business enterprises, more than 6,000 crores from his signature. Manipur is growing in business, every nook and corner. Asungumbalamni. If Poumai people with all the hard-working habits, with Poumai people with all the development understandings, with Poumai people with all the progressive thoughts, if you, the younger generation, do not get into business and prove to the rest of the world that Poumai people prefer business than government jobs, you will only go behind. It is only with business that you will shine better. The world is narrowing down to northeast. All over India, the world is now, the government of India is narrowing down to Manipur. We are not landlocked states, my dear friends. We are land-linked. Go decide, we have the population of Assam and Bangladesh. Go to south, we have Burma and the rest of the Southeast Asian countries. How can we be landlocked? It's mind lock. Get out of this. Get out of this. Young people who are educated, young people who are smart. I have seen this with a lot of people, especially in the northern side of Manipur. People getting into the business, which is not so in other districts. You are going to show the way for the rest of the people in Manipur. Business is the way to shine as a community. Business is the way to tell our culture, to showcase our culture through business. If you don't, the global forces will come whether you like it or not. Your culture, your belief system, all those will be submerged. They will bulldoze it. You will not exist. And your identity as a Poumai will not be remembered in the future. And that is true for every community here. We must all get into the business of doing business. It is only through this way that we will tell the rest of the world that there is a very progressive thinking community called Poumais. I have a very bad habit that if I start talking, I do not know how to stop. I end this little sharing of my personal life with these few thoughts that it is only through business that we are going to sign better. It is only through business that we are going to create more jobs. Don't be a job seeker, you be the job provider. In order to do that, our environment, our area, our state, our district, our villages is simply a good opportunity that you can think of. There's no better place. It was difficult in those days. Now it is not. I look forward to many more such occasions to interact with young people who are willing to get into the business or who are already doing some business. I'm tempted to tell another story which always I share wherever I go about our mentality, our attitude. In Don Bosco, Maram, once they brought people who had finished their final exam, degree final exam, for a finishing course in Guwahati while I was still in service. So they invited me to give a talk on what these kind of people can do after their degree. So I went and talked. And I told them in Guwahati, around 100 boys and girls were there. I told them, you as a student can also earn a lot of income. You don't need to be simply a full-fledged entrepreneur to become rich. As a student, you can also start these kind of activities. So I was telling the story of how a boy borrowed some money from his parents and saying that he will return the money. It's a loan from his parents, and he started rearing pigs. And he became a very big pig farmer as a student. So that story I was telling them. One of the boys, after the story, or after my talk, said, "Sir, I also did the same." "Oh, are you a big farmer?" "No. But I also took money. It was not loan. My parents were very happy to give me the money free. So I also reared a pig, and the pig died." So I said, "What is the problem?" He said, "What to do, sir?" So what to do? The pig died, and he said, "What to do?" So I said, we all laughed. Then at the end I said, "The pig died, but you did not die, no?" Our mentality is like that. When you start something, when it doesn't work, we think it is finished. Actually, God is designing in such a way that when something fails in the first go, actually, you should do the other one, which will make you stronger. Akwai tabak ama tawada, ahan bagi tabak to fail with loire upalete. This is our mentality. If the pig had died, since you did not die, you rear one more pig. So that next time you will be more careful and the pig will not die. Asigumba mentality leirakanda ikoi chakot kadabane. Yes or no? Aduna, we all think the business is over at the first go. When the aeroplane starts, it puts all the engines into functioning. They run very fast in the runways, and they take off. And after they take off, when they reach a certain height, the only one engine will fly. See, those who are flying, you will know it. Only one engine will fly. It is like that in business. When you begin, we'll have to struggle a little harder. Like the 4 engines working. Then, once we reach a certain level, we don't need to work hard. It will fly itself. The business will carry itself. The money will get money. So this is how in business, people as they grow, they will find more time for their families and friends, business people. But in the government jobs, the older you go, there will be more responsibility and you will not be free. So in any case, in any form, a person, successful businessman, will find more time to go around and do what he likes as they grow older in business. But in the government jobs, it is not like that. I am a government servant. Haibadu. Maitelo and the Haradi, servant, I will say, Minai Haivani. Natro. So let's not be so proud to be a government servant. Let's look after ourselves, and as a beautiful gift to God, we make our life better by employing our own people, by generating income, by making our village better, by making our district better. This only business can provide. Thank you very much.
I'm not a speaker, but I'm getting nervous. And I'm getting goosebumps, and my arms now look like a kiwi. What can I say? Dear sir, you are a walking and a talking book. You are a living story. You are a teacher we never had in our school days. And with your ideas, you are a weapon of mass development. Thank you so much, and we are very blessed and we are very lucky to have you here today. We have heard so much from you, new ideas which we have never heard of, and I have a great confidence that starting now on, starting today, we will all be willing to be mad like you. Thank you, sir, for your time. And taking this moment, I would also like to thank our guest speakers here today for making their time to be with us here today. We also thank Sri Hipuni Bismarck for his sincerity. Although he could not be physically here, he made the effort to send somebody in his stead. So even though he is not here, we appreciate and we thank him. And we also thank all the speakers, Sri Shani Poumai and Sir Gopan Moses and Sri Ruchinilo Camp for their wonderful speech. They are all thought-provoking, and we are very hopeful that through their speech we will make a difference in the future. And we would like to tell you, we would like to ask you to tell us that this is not your last time to be with us. Tell us that we have a story to share in the future. Please do join our future programs as well. Thank you so much for what you have done for us today. The speakers mata hatalai. The session, next session ha brainstorming session. I have busy so na mamti thine below some mamti thea ha hin bipo ju chinura ha pimana hazo we chi we popo ha jito mamti thine so na daiku kasha na no pilu ni da bilai pimata personal life we pimata business we entrepreneur we dai dai ne no ni we tamti thea ku no lo we han ha Zuwichu brainstorming session and ha camera hi thulamoy. It will be off camera. So the brainstorming session will be off camera. We would like to request each and everyone to stay back if you do not have any urgent works. So we invite our guest speakers to take their place on the arena. Volunteers mata biusu da poitol jito guest my birazuna. Pure mum sing pom survey. So we chip on over guest speakers matana. You don't chim lopong over be hino. You matana pima business strategy hino, personal life hino. That question no ne hante de ha telepoyusila. So no lunia bima. Matsuso no jito business hunie bi ma business minded people hamti ti vom chu sui ha ma ta hai stay back so ji ma ta ko tele zidai ko bi pe chalo lai Your attention, please. Chu hai brainstorming session hi birama hypalo ta ko pe chalo lai thailand bi ma pra hi ne ko bi ko bi pe chalo lai scatter so ma ne bi hin ko ze pe chalo lai bi ne pom se ve chu brainstorming session ha bi se lai so van zoe speakers ma ne po bi hi ne question no ni ma doubts to bi ma ni ma ne inquiry to bi dai dai no ni ve tile ha paisila so van pa ha na selo the chu brainstorming session ha na hi veilelo in ha pomsa kyu na be chu tile han ha how ta isulai. Thank you.
But